couple times when he was still here in San Diego. Um, it's a very I'm trying to find like the best way, like the way that he teaches. It's like no bullshit. It's like, look, if you're
Mm,
here, you're gonna learn. And I mean, he's a cool guy. He's like very approachable. Um, but um, but yeah, I mean, I love he's really into a lot into chokes. You know, like
mm.
that's mostly his thing. But yeah, it was nice. It was nice training with him.
Yeah, my friend was super hype on learning Darce choke, so he got his DVD called the Darcepedia.
Yep.
Have you heard of that?
Yep. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Mm.
And I train with Boogie, so I mean, like Darce's is
Woo!
something that I'm used to. Man, he darces me like we'll roll for like a 5 minute roll, and he'll darce me like 13 times.
Yeah, I was telling some of my students because we were going over Darce chokes a couple classes ago. I was like, "This is how the best are doing it, and the best right now is Boogie. This is how he does it, and this is how you're going to do it because nobody does it better than him."
He darts me from inside my guard. Like he was in my guard, and he and he darts me, and I was like,
That's just embarrassing.
is that even possible? Like, motherfucker, like how long do your arms have to
Yeah,
be to do that?
he's got
Oh
some sort of aftermarket attachment, like a go-go gadget thing.
my yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, we can talk about that too with like the man. I always mispronounce it. Is it quintet tournament?
Quintet, yeah.
Quintet, yeah. I think that's the future, man. I think like that's the future of like grappling. I think that'd be really cool. You know, like if you look at like professional football and like
Mm,
soccer and baseball, people like team sports, and
definitely.
you grab like a bunch of superstars, and it's like basically like a bunch of super fights all in one. So
Yeah, that was always the thing with jujitsu is they say it's not a team sport. It is and it isn't because you're alone out there. But in this case, no, actually, you're fighting for your team for the medal, right? So
yep, yep.
a lot more like wrestling meets. What do they call them? Do you know there's a term for it? All the wrestlers are gonna scream at me right now. It's some sort of meet where they essentially bring I think it's five guys from their team of different weight classes, and then they sort
Gangbang.
of. No, I don't think so. I think that's different. uh,
um,
Anyways, that's a similar idea. So, guys, we are live now on Yumi and Us. I have a very exciting, awesome, amazing guest on here in Hector from Leg Locker. If you're on Instagram, you'll know who he is because he is one of the largest jiu-jitsu accounts on here, and he is building a worldwide web of evil, soulless people that like to bite ankles. How's it going, Hector?
it's going, man. Thank you for that beautiful intro.
Yeah,
That's all.
I really appreciate what you're doing with the Leg Locker tribe that you're building.
Yeah, man. It's really interesting. Sometimes like tribe can get like a negative connotation.
Mm,
People think like you just kind of get like an echo chamber. But the way I see it is like, man, if we can make like a worldwide community where like people like from all over the world can just share, knowledge, interact, network. It's a beautiful thing, and that's what jujitsu is. And if we can spread it, then by all means, right? Like so, it's
yeah,
pretty cool.
so kind of expand besides the actual idea of if you follow my account, you're part of the tribe, which is cool. You've not only you've taken it a step further in that you're now getting like a geotagging spot for gyms that are leg locker gyms.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely. Like, one thing that I'm really seeing is that people, when they're like really into like locking, right? Like they're really into the community. It becomes sort of an identity, and I think that's one of the reasons why the clothing has done so well. Is people want to share their passion. And I mean, you know it. Sometimes when you travel and you want to roll, you have to like check with the gyms, like make sure like they're okay with like certain moves, and some gyms are not open to leg locks. I mean, now I think times have changed, and they're becoming more mainstream, and people are becoming like more accepting to it. But yeah, that's what it is. It's just basically like you just go on there, you just like, hey, I'm right here, and then like it pops up, and for a fact you can just go in there and just start heel hooking people without having to like be nice and get to know them first. It just takes up the foreplay. That's all it is.
So back in the day, you had to be real nice and then heel hook them.
Correct. Yeah, like you had to like maybe wait or and like maybe like if you had a heel hook, you didn't crank it. You just kind of like looked at him and hoped they would tap. Now it's just like, hey man, like you're part of the tribe. Like you know,
Your ACL
although
is my ACL.
that's right. But yeah, man, it's people are responding really well. It's up to like 40 something schools now, and it's gonna keep going until we take over the world.
Yeah, I saw Zombie Proof on there. Shout out to Kent Peters
The powerful Ken Peters.
doing the
Yes.
damn thing.
Oh yeah.
He's always putting out these leg lock tutorials. I know he puts out like just jujitsu tutorials, but he loves his leg locks.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we're always talking like actually him and another buddy of mine, Gustavo, we have our own little like
Mm,
thing on Instagram. It's called Leg Lockers Worldwide, and we just like,
mm.
bullshit and send memes and videos. But one thing that Kent does that I really like, and very few people do it, is he does breakdowns of finishes, like
Yes.
big time finishes, and I think that's fantastic. That's really cool. It'd be nice if we can just like all get together, like all the Instagram, like you, Kent, and like a bunch of other people, and we just like make like a giant network and like make. We need to put jujitsu on TV. Like that's the thing. Like if you can have golf
Mm.
on TV, why can't we have jujitsu?
So let's segue from that back to what we were starting with Quintet. Do you
Yeah.
think that between that and EBI, we're getting more viewer-friendly content that the average unintelligent, when it comes to grappling, individual can sit down and be like, "Shit, this is interesting."
Yeah, well, I mean, people like things that move quick. Like people want stimulus, and gi jujitsu. If you love jujitsu and you watch gi, you're watching a chess match.
Mm.
But not many people can watch a chess match. They want to see lasers. They want to see explosions.
Yeah.
People have short attention spans. And the cool thing with those is, you have a very high profile team. You got a bunch of superstars, and here in America, I mean, the biggest sport is NBA and NFL, and they're making trillions of dollars. And it's just team sports. And I think that if jujitsu can just kind of like get on that, then I mean, like, look at all the ramifications of positive, like, ramifications going to have, like being in high schools, kids start doing from a younger age, and it's like a whole social revolution. And I think that's the future, and I would love to see that and sponsor it.
Yeah, you're right in here. You're with the social movements. You've got your leg lock tribe. You've got changing the world with BJJ on TV. You're thinking big,
Yep.
sir.
I got to give all credit to my mentor, Tony Montana from Scarface. Yes, well, except for that. Except, well, I mean, this being leg locks, right? But there's a scene he says like, "I want the world and everything in it," and not to say that I'm gonna like be like overly greedy, but like that's the mindset that I want to have. Like, hey,
Mm.
if jujitsu can make people better and people can like get into like, leg locks, and then yeah, let's just take over the world.
Man, speaking of quintet, I've got a student. He's a super keener. He's one of my super white belts. Who's he's in there. All he thinks about is jujitsu. It's all he's thought about for a couple years now. And he texted me after quintet. Like I don't know how much of it he watched before he went to bed or whatever because it was at a weird time.
Mhm.
Um, but he was like, "Dude, the 10th Planet guys. Do you know about these guys?" I'm like, "What guys?" He's like, "There's this guy. I think they call him Big Red. He's fucking terrifying." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I know about him." And she's like, "And Geo, the little guy, they put him up against Goliaths."
Yeah, that was a crazy match. That was a really crazy match. That dude was just taking everybody out.
Yeah, Gio put a little video, a highlight clip of it up on his Instagram today. It was the guy is a judo Olympic medalist, gold medalist, was it?
Oh wow, I know that.
Or it was either wrestling or judo, but I mean, it really doesn't matter at that level. You're good. You're real good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And not to mention, he's like 4.5 geos big.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's wild. It's wild, but I mean, like that style of tournament is like way conducive for like 10th Planet, and obviously not saying nothing against no other association or academy, but I mean, like that's 10th Planet's thing. Like it's just the high pace submission based
Mm,
style. So
mm.
I was a little nervous for them for a while
Were you?
though. Yeah, I mean, like, um, was it Team Reebok, the guy that was, I forgot his name. This dude, this big guy. They were doing pretty good, and
Mm.
but yeah, 10th Planet just snuck away with it.
Well, look, man, if they got Sakuraba running this shit, they're not going to let in any slouches. Like he does his homework. He knows the grappling community deep.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure.
Who would you want to see come in there? Like obviously, 10th Planet did their thing. They look great.
Yeah.
Um, but in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking like there's that rivalry with the DDS in EBI. I wonder if we're going to get the DDS super team coming over there with the Wolverines and the Eddies, or the
That,
Tonins and the Ryans and the Nicky Ryans. And good God, like they're as deep as it gets.
you know what? If they were to, it would be the younger team that's coming up, because a lot of them, like Gordon's, I think he's with ACB now, so
Yeah,
he's under
that's true.
contract.
That's true.
And then you got Gary is with what is it?
One FC.
One FC, yeah. So he's gone. So then you would have like your Nikki, and then like you would have like I mean, who's another guy that's over there?
It'd be nice
Frank
if they got
Rosenthal.
John Calistine, but I don't think he's technically DDS. I think he
It's
trains with Wolverine, so it's not under
right.
John.
Well, the thing is that the DDS never really existed. Like the DDS in and of itself doesn't exist. It was like a name. I forgot who, because Frank Rosenthal, he told me like the whole background story, but it was just someone had called it that, and then they just kind of stuck. But it was never an official thing. But I mean, yeah, it'd be kind of cool. Like if there was like the DDS team or like the Henzo team that goes over there.
Yeah,
That definitely really awesome.
that'd be scary. Like, who's gonna? Good God, think about this. You've got Travis Stevens, you've got
Yeah.
Eddie Cummings, you've got, or like we were saying, they might not show up, but even like you're saying, their quote unquote B team still has Oliver Taza, still has Ethan, still has fuck, like it goes
Yeah.
deep, deep. These 80cc medalists and super fight perennial winners.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny like that you call it. I mean, yeah, it's a B team, but it's not really like the B team. It's just like, and it's crazy. Like, I was talking to John about this. Like, there's so much competition within that school, especially from the
Mm,
135 to the 145. Is just so packed. Like, everyone in there is just world class. I don't know what the hell they're doing in there. They got to be like doing some crazy rituals, some sacrifices. I don't know
no.
what John's doing over there with these guys.
I believe,
Damn.
in the words of John Danaher, it's a meritocracy.
Ah, okay, of course.
Very Socratic way of saying we try to kill each other daily.
Oh, it was working for him. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard war stories and horror stories of, there's those bucket list gyms out there. So you've got your AOJs, you've got your Henzo New Yorks, you've got, fill in the blank, these tri-stars, these gyms that people are like tourists coming in to train, that I trained with George St. Pierre or whatever, right? Um,
Right.
that's definitely one of them, but it's not the place you want to be during a competition class.
No, 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 no. I mean, I would love to be there, but
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like as far as rolling with them goes,
I've
like,
seen that there's a
yeah,
nice piece of glass behind the matted area that you can sit and
yeah,
watch. That'd be me.
yep, I feel you there.
Yeah.
I'd just be like recording videos and trying to network with people
Yeah.
for
And if
sure.
they're like, Drew, you want to roll? I'm like, no, I'm good. You're doing great. Keep going, guys.
Just for more support.
Yeah, yeah. Just my knees are just feeling the throbbing watching those guys tear each other apart.
That's what it takes, right? I mean, or is it? Is that what it takes? Is it like really just going that hard all day just
I,
to become the best?
I don't know because you'd think that has a short shelf life, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Have you popped your knees much being a leg locker?
Yeah, yeah. I've popped all of it. I mean, uh, I've had my ACL reconstructed. I've popped both my lateral meniscus and LCL on both
Mm.
sides.
Those are like, they should be badges like Purple Hearts for BJJ. Like, oh,
Yeah,
you
right.
got your you got your ACL patch. All right, yeah, I respect, man. Big salute.
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm like. It was a really crazy like just the whole experience of tearing my ACL, and that's something like I would just never want to do again. Like, what a freaking bummer! And it's not so much like the pain; it's just like the time off. Like
Yeah.
that's the most torturous part for anybody, for any athlete, is just having to take time off. It's like always the
How
worst.
much time, like literally away from the mats, where you couldn't do anything?
6 months.
Good God. Yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks. That can be a career end, quote unquote career. That could be a hobby ender for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, easily. And I came back too early. This is
Mm,
one thing that people don't tell you about ACLs is when you get the ACL, and depending on the ACL, I got an allograft, which is a cadaver graft.
mm.
So it's an Achilles tendon that they put in there. And right after they put it, the first, I think it's like 3 months, it's like the most solid it's going to be. And then it does a dip. And it's not until the ninth month mark that it hits 90% if you're on it. And the last 3 months is like this very slow 10% that you may or may not hit depending on all the other variables. I think maybe at most I got to 90%, but now with leg locks and jujitsu, my knees are shot.
So, is that running through your head when somebody backsteps into saddle on you?
You know what? I don't get backstepped too much. Like I see it coming from a mile away. But then again, right? Like then you're rolling against like some like world class athlete that they
Sure.
just
Zed
make you feel
guarded. I
like,
mean, pick your poison, right? You end up in a
yeah, yeah,
position where you're being isolated, right? You start thinking like, oh, 9 months.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then like you'll roll with like super experienced, grapplers and they make you feel like, do I even know jujitsu? Like what have I been doing for the past couple of years? Like all of the
Oh
knowledge that
yeah.
is gone. It's just the weirdest thing. But it's humbling. And that's why I love it.
Yeah, where I'm at, which is Alberta, Canada, we've always been playing catch up with BJJ to the American scene, who has always been playing catch up to the Brazilian scene. So we're kind of 2 steps removed from the cutting edge shit. Um,
Hmm.
but but there is a gym up here that has been producing just leg lock monsters. They focus mostly on no-gi, and they've been very, very active in trying to track the trends by dissecting like tournament videos of these guys like Eddie. Um,
Huh.
and they have gotten to this point where like if it's an all subs legal, you're getting heel hook. Just period. Just put a stamp on that for sure. Because it's that game, like you're saying. Like if you are that one big leap ahead in that game, you're not even playing jujitsu anymore with these guys. You're just getting leg locked.
Wow. What gym is this? I haven't heard of them.
The guy who trains them, his name is Guy, and he runs Complete Fitness up here in BJJ, as well as a side one called the Little Sweatshop. Um,
What is it called?
the Little Sweatshop, yeah, it's TSS, the Little Sweatshop, or
That's
TLS, yeah,
beautiful. Okay.
yeah, and they're savages. Guy is an amazing black belt in his own right, but he's bringing up. You probably know Chadwick Roland.
Yes.
Yeah, he's directly under them.
Okay. Oh
Hmm.
wow. It's really interesting. With Instagram and with everything, seeing what parts of the world are really into leg locks. And the two countries where I see, aside from from here, the two countries that I see is Australia and Canada are the two
Hmm.
countries that are the most like leg lock driven and leg lock heavy. I mean, no doubt there's other parts of the world, of course. The UK has some great leg lockers as well,
Yeah.
and all over the world. But Canada and Australia, for some reason, just blowing up.
Yeah, probably because they're new to the scene, so they're like super eager, right?
Mm.
I mean, the U.S. they've had catch wrestling for 100 years. Russia's had sambo for 1 million years. Like there's deep embedded leg locking in places that's probably not so exciting to them online. It's like, yes, of course, we train leg lock. It's what we do. Whereas
Right.
Canada's like, yay, guys, I can tap a guy now. I'm a white belt. I can tap a purple belt. This is cool.
I hear that a lot too. I actually had a white belt. He was like, "Hey, I'm tapping out blue belts and purple belts with leg locks. Is that bad?" I'm like, I don't know. Like, it sounds good. I mean, I don't know what's going on in your gym, but
You know
that,
what? The tap isn't bad. It's the humble brag you got to watch for. That'll get you fucked up.
yep, for sure.
If you start humble bragging, whether it's online or just to the other guys in the gym, hey, I caught Marcelo the other day. He's a purple belt, and I don't like to brag, but I've been learning these leg locks. And yeah, you're gonna get smashed next time Marcelo hears that.
Yeah, man. It's really funny. Like, and this is kind of like going to like the whole thing. Like right before we started the podcast, you're like, what do you go by? I'm like, oh, Hector, 100%, please. And one reason why is because people will then associate the brand with me, and they
Mm.
think that I'm like this all powerful of like just not even authority, but like yeah, like oh, you're the greatest leg locker ever. I'm like, no, slow down before you get me hurt. Because then
Yeah.
I don't want to call Marcelo and be like, Marcelo's like, oh, you're gonna be here? Can I record you? Because that's what he does, right? Like he'll record people that come and like want to be there, and then he just embarrasses them. And
Yeah,
I'm like, I mean, I would love nothing more than to roll with Marcelo. Would I get embarrassed?
of
100%.
course.
Yeah, but I'm like, when it comes to stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, no, 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 no. I just run the page.
He's the type of guy I wouldn't mind being embarrassed because his game doesn't destroy people. You know what I mean? Like I'm not
Yeah,
worried that this is Paul Harris that wants a piece of me. I'm worried that he's going to choke me 100 times. I can take a choke.
yeah. Speaking of Paul Harris, or Polaris, whatever his name is, I can't.
Paul Harris was on Polaris.
Yes. Well, he's. Oh, wait. When's the? Did it already happen?
Yeah,
Him
Polaris.
and
Oh, wait. No, that
No.
was announced. Uh,
Yes, him and Craig Jones.
Craig Jones, yes.
They're gonna go at it. That's crazy. It's gonna be a really, really interesting
Mm,
match. Old school, new school.
exactly.
Seeing Craig's style. I mean, I'm really excited about that, and I think the community should as well. And that's one thing that I really want to see more of is people really taking their social media and using it to promote all grappling, big grappling tournaments. You know,
Mm.
Polaris. Who's another one? You know, EBI. Um, who else is putting on a big event?
Well, you know who used to do it was Five Grappling. They used to put on their Invitational. And
Right.
I worked with Five from 2013 to 2014. I helped all of their open tournaments, and
Oh,
so I was pretty tight with the owners and the organizers. And the guy who ran it, that basically funded the whole thing for that stint, his name is Dan Henson, and he basically told me when I was thinking about doing my own like pay-per-view deal because I run tournaments myself. So I was
I
thinking,
heard.
yeah, maybe I could do an invitational and broadcast it online. It could be cool. We'll do like a $10 pay-per-view or something. He's like, you can figure right now what your costs are going to be and just assume that you're not going to pay any of it back because nobody buys in. So
Wow.
yeah, that was back in 2015. He told me that. He's like, there's no money in pay-per-view BJJ. There's none. He's like, I lose my entire budget every time I do it. So he's like,
Crazy.
if you're okay with that, you go for it. But I mean, there's a reason why Metamoris went defunct. There's a reason
Mm.
why EBI's basically been footing the bill for years. It's that's where's the payback model? And this is what I think that you're talking about is we got to build it up organically at the grassroots so that people are interested to start watching and then get them to buy in. There's too
Right.
much of a culture of people being like, oh, I'll wait till the next day and just check out the highlights. And that's all well and good. But damn it, if you've got $10, you can support the people that are at the top of your industry because nobody else is.
Yeah, no, I mean that you totally nail it, and I agree. I mean, like that's what we need, and I think that with a lot of like Metamours, I think it came too early, in some way, and yeah, unfortunately, you know, with a lot of these five promotions, they're paving the way, and it's a painful road. But I think that just in the next couple of years, and I'm hoping that like within the next 5 years, you know, jujitsu can be on TV, whether it's like it gets to the Olympics first, like that's its first like you know stage. But yeah, I mean like there's so much money to be made. There's so much money to be made in jiu-jitsu,
Mm.
and I feel like we haven't really tapped into it. You know, although you know jiu-jitsu's been around for forever now, it's still relatively new. And in this community, this thing I'm noticing is this community is really small. You know, there's granted there's thousands of practitioners, but our community is very small and everybody knows everybody, which is really cool for networking. But then again, there's not a lot of money, and you know nothing breaks my heart more than seeing these you know athletes really struggling. You know, I would love to see you know jujitsu professionals you know be able to make a living out of it.
Yeah, I feel like there are certain professionals, and I say professionals because anytime you make money at something, you're professionally doing it. In BJJ, whether it's they're making $500 on a super fight or not, like they're clearly probably not paying their bills off of their matches. They tend to, I feel like, get drawn into MMA for the dollars, even though they don't
Mhm.
really want to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, taking the UFC model, right? Like when it first started, um, how many like years and how many fights it took for them to you know finally become profitable and be and you know what there was like one fight that was televised and it was a huge fight and boom you know that's when everything took off and like I'm just waiting for that to happen with jiu-jitsu. And I know Eddie's doing a good job, especially like now it's on Fight Pass, but it's still like man it's like I feel like there's just that one thing missing and it's gonna catch like fire and then
Mm.
it's gonna have a revolution.
Well, I mean, up to this point, in my opinion, it's really been EBI that's been the interesting one. Like, I'm not hating on Polaris. I like what they do, but it's just not as consistent as EBI. Like they're
Mhm.
really pushing the envelope consistently. And now, hopefully, like you're saying, if Quintet starts picking up that same pace, now we got options. Now we're building an industry that not only can feed hungry fighters or competitors, but also will garner that grassroots movement that wants to watch it and follows the storyline, knows who the champions are, and remembers these matches and is looking forward to these next matches.
Oh yeah, yeah, and again, that's going to take a community for it to happen, and we have an amazing community. We have
Mm,
such a really cool, supportive, because everybody that loves jujitsu, it's like a part of your life. It's like now, something that you just can't get rid of anymore. And
mhm.
yeah. So hopefully we'll get there.
Yeah. Speaking of community, I know we got a pretty active chat this time. So, hi guys. I know you're all into talking. We're gonna get to you at the end of the podcast, so stick around. And if you got any questions for myself or for Hector, let us know at that point. Um,
Dollar question.
yeah, dollar question. That's right. You can pay in American dollars too. It works for me. So, are you yourself 10th Planet? I know you're pretty hot on them. Is this like an affiliation you're tied to?
Yeah, definitely. I train with Boogie down here in San Diego. I bounced around some schools. I mean, especially here in San Diego, there's a lot of amazing academies,
Mm,
like a lot.
yeah.
Everyone's good here. Southern California. But yeah. I actually even before jujitsu, I was doing taekwondo. Like that was like my thing. I thought I was like this like really cool, yeah, karate guy. I could just take everybody out with my kicks. And yeah, then I got my ass kicked, and I was like, oh, I got to do this jujitsu thing now.
How long did you do Taekwondo for?
9 years.
Oh shit! So you really did it.
Yeah, I was really into it. And a buddy of mine, he kicked my butt, and like at the time, he wasn't doing anything. Like he was just partying and smoking weed, and he hadn't trained like 2 years, and just destroyed me. And I was like, fuck that! I want to learn this. I need to learn this superpower.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Like with McDojo, which is another guy too, right? Like just like this whole like jujitsu community online. He posts like all these videos of like these guys, like the energy touch is knocking people out, and I understand why people get fascinated by that. People want that ability, that superhuman ability to like do something, and they don't realize that jujitsu, leg locks, is really that ability. Like it's like you have this knowledge on how to use your body in ways that the average person has no
Mhm.
idea. And I used to be one of those people. I used to think that like if somebody's going to charge at me for like a double, like I can close that distance with a kick.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might, but not really.
There's so much of the model of the intercepting fill in the blank, the intercepting fist, the intercepting kick, the intercepting up block. That I like. I did some traditional martial arts in karate for 3 years, and I did Kali for 2 years, which is a Filipino weapon style.
Right.
Yeah, stick fighting. And they have their merit. They're definitely part of the martial tradition. Like they brought me into that whole environment to to understand the I don't know what you get from it, right? Like you start to build a confidence in yourself, and you start to believe, that the weaker person can win and stuff like that. But the more I got into those both, the more I realized where their downfalls were, and it became glaringly obvious that the downfalls were in actual sparring. Like everything looks beautiful when you're doing your kata, and everything looks beautiful when you're repping a spinning back kick. But if you cannot land that on someone who's charging at you in full sparring, why are you doing it?
Right. And a lot, and again, not hating on traditional martial arts. I mean, they have great attributes about them, but yeah, a lot of it is theory based. I do this, you do that, and it's going at a very slow and controlled pace.
Mm,
But that's why I think jujitsu is so small in a lot of ways. Like it's growing now because people are starting to realize it. Um, but it's jujitsu all sparring pretty much. Yeah. I mean, you drill what you're gonna do, and then you just spar it out.
mm,
And I think that's a little scary for some people. Like. And even like your ego getting bruised. I've seen so many people come to me. I mean, like they come in the gym
yeah.
and they think they're gonna be like this hot shot. They got a black belt in karate. They get choked out and they're like, no, fuck this. I'm just gonna go back to what I do, what I'm good at, and that's it.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I used to be that guy.
Yeah, well, they either go one way or the other, right? They either turn hard left or hard right, being that this is, forget this shit, it's too hard, or I'm going to stick to, you know, my crane style, or they're like, this is exactly what I need.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's really funny. Like if you watch like a video of somebody doing an Imanari roll and you don't do jujitsu, you go, oh, that's bullshit. Like what the
Yeah,
person's gonna spin, they're gonna just stand there, and then you do it to someone, they're like, oh shit, this shit's real. I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
So
That's a mind blower. Um, I remember the first time I was just getting into jujitsu. I was into it for maybe like 2 months, and I had a jujitsu magazine that I bought. I forget what it was. It might have. I don't think Jujitsu magazine existed at the time. I think it was Gracie Mag, and
okay.
it had a little technique like panel breakdown of a helicopter armbar, and I was like, bullshit. There is no way. Of course, they're going to pick the flashiest move to put it in these panels to make it look so cool. And literally the next week, my instructor showed us the helicopter armbar. I was like, oh,
Oh, this is real.
oh, I thought they were playing.
Gotta love jujitsu.
Yeah. Well, I think that what the benefit is from jujitsu as opposed to most of these other traditional striking styles is I'm not saying that they don't work. What I'm saying is for them to work, you have to be at like a Lyoto Machida level. You know what I mean? You have to be elite of the elite to be busting people up with this shit. Whereas if you're getting into BJJ, you can be a 6 month white belt and you're already going to be like dominating people if they get into a street fight with you. You know what I mean? Like that small amount of training is so much more practical when it comes to defending yourself.
Right. And I mean, it makes sense. I mean, jujitsu is more gross motor skill. It's like using your whole body as like to some more striking arts that are more like really fine motor that you have to have put in hours and years of repetition for that to fully function. Whereas to just doing an arm drag and choking somebody out, you do that in a couple classes and you can probably get away with it, have a better chance of doing that than landing like a 360 roundhouse kick on somebody.
I remember a post, one of the early posts by John Danaher, because he used to bounce quite a bit, hey, back in his earlier days. And he said that, in his words, it's embarrassingly easy to take down somebody who doesn't know the first thing about jujitsu. He said essentially it's either a double leg to mount or it's a back take to a choke. It's almost every time it's over in 2 moves.
Do you know who Sergio Hernandez is? Are you familiar with him?
Not by name, no.
He's a black belt. I hope I didn't say the last name wrong. But Serge, he's a black belt under Barrett Yoshida,
Okay, yeah.
and his video has been going around. Some dude tried to break into his dad's house.
Oh, I saw Eddie put that up today.
Yeah, and
Ah.
he took him down and put him in this like triangle. But the thing with Serge is his legs are so damn long and he's so flexible. Like he has this dude like the craziest like mounted triangle, and he's like, "Don't move. I'm gonna put you to sleep. I'm gonna break your arm." The dude's like, "Please let me go."
Yeah, I remember in the description it said he was saying that he has a kid that he doesn't want to be taken away from, but shit. I mean, I kind of felt bad, but he broke into my dad's house.
Yeah. What are the odds that you break into like a successful established black belt jujitsu practitioner? Fuck.
You ought to stop breaking into places if that's what's happening. If you're if you're finding
Oh,
that place, your luck is not in that genre.
that's why I don't start shit, especially here in San Diego. This is like a fight town.
Ooh, yeah,
I
that's a
just
good
feel like
point.
yeah, and then like before, like you could look at somebody's ears and kind of go like, you probably know some shit. Now you just never know. People be wearing like little muffs and stuff, and some people have I have baby ears. Like when I get a little bit of cauliflower, I it's a celebration for me. I'm like, fuck yeah, but I have two leg locks too, so I'm like always like far away from the person, not engaging, so there's like no friction.
Yeah, I've seen the videos going around of these Russian guys that are holding their friend down against a block of wood, like a stump where you'd be splitting wood, and they
Yeah.
like hold the guy's ear out and then punch it like with their knuckles over and over and over. And
Oh
they're trying to get cauliflower ear. And I'm like, this is the grappler's version of stolen valor.
yeah, that's crazy. Like, I feel like there's easier ways to do that. But have you seen the videos of like dudes getting their nuts kicked, like the kung fu guys? And
Yeah.
you get cauliflower on your balls too. Like, is that a thing?
I have not been kicked enough to know, and I really don't want to know at this point.
I've had a testicle ruptured, and it's
Oh,
as a dude, I would never wish that on anybody. Yeah,
yeah. I knew a kid in grade 10 when I was growing up that he got sucker kicked, I guess you'd call it. But he
yeah.
just, yeah, was walking down the hall, decided to grab him by the shoulders and just knee him in the junk. And I don't know why, but he dropped like a sack of potatoes as they always do. But it literally blew up one of his nuts and he had to have one removed, like Lance Armstrong style.
Well, I was lucky. I didn't have to get it removed, and
Mm.
everything works fine. But this is something
Hey,
that's
ladies.
yeah, hey, hey. But one thing that they don't tell you, like if the because it blows, it's just basically like a blood clot. That's what it is. It's
Mm.
just blood protecting it. If it pierces and like your baby juice goes into your DNA, your white blood cells don't recognize that and they attack it and they form antibodies. So consequently,
Ooh.
it becomes sterile. Yeah. And they're like, well, if that happens, what do you want us to do? Just leave it or take it out? And I was like, oh man, I started bawling. I was like, I don't want to lose it. And they're like, oh, it's okay. You can just get it like a something to fill it with. And I'm like, no, I don't want to have like a pinball or like a wooden ball. No, but it all worked out. It was good.
Oh, that's good. I'm happy for your both.
Thank you.
I feel like we've
So much.
grown really, like that's a deep friendship story.
Yes, and with the whole world, so we're all friends
Yeah,
now.
there
Join
you
the
go.
tribe.
Yeah, let me show you the scar.
That's right. It's funny. A buddy of mine, he nicknamed them Frankenballs because it was like
Yeah.
purple and blue. And of course, what do you guys do? You just text it to your friends, be like, "Hey."
One of my best friends, I'm gonna out him because I know he's not listening.
Okay.
One of my best friends growing up, he had a quadding accident. You know what quads are?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a four-wheeler, and he was quadding out in the field in long grass. And the problem with quadding in long grass is it all looks pretty level to the eye, but the ground does like dips and
Yeah.
bounds. And he hit this berm with his front tires that basically catapulted him off like a bucking horse. And somehow his nutsack through the pants like caught the throttle
Oh,
handle
sh-
as his whole body was going past and basically tore it open.
oh,
So he had to get like staple stitches on his poor scrotum,
oh my
and
God.
yeah, he was another one of those Frankenball stories that
How does that
just
even like? How's that even possible? It's crazy. Like we think we're so strong, and the human body can do a lot of crazy stuff, but at the same
mm,
time, we're so freaking fragile.
we're made of jello wrapped around bones.
Yeah.
That's essentially it. Like you try throwing that shit at another animal in the animal kingdom that actually has to defend itself from being eaten every day. No,
Fucked.
we're not even in the league, man. We should be in the stands watching them duke it out because we don't belong trying to fight with even a badger, you know?
Yeah. Oh, for real. And it's wild. Like there's stories of people surviving, falling out of a plane and their parachute not opening, and they survive, and then you slip and fall in your shower and die. I mean, it's wild. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I would not suggest a human body to anybody out there. It's a trap.
Yep.
Yeah, wait for the upgrade.
Hey, I'm waiting for that too. I'm
Yeah.
waiting for if I can put my phone inside of me so I don't have to carry it around. Like I spend. This is people ask me like, "Are you on Instagram all day long?" The answer is yes. If I ever answer and like your comment in like 0.2 seconds because I was on it, and I try not to be, and to anybody that messaged me and I have not responded, I'm sorry. You probably understand too. We just get messages all day, every
Yeah.
day. They just never stop coming. And I'm just like ready. Like there's days where I just want to take this thing and just throw it away, but I can't live off of it. But I can't. It'd be really cool if I can just like have it in my hand, or like if I have some type of attachment, then it'd be so much easier.
Yeah, luckily for me, I don't get a lot of serious people in my DMs. Like I imagine for a lifestyle type site like or page like yourself, like we are leg lockers and we are together and we leg lockers against the world. They want to tell their stories, ask their questions, their problems and stuff. I just get people sending me shit meme ideas. That's about it. There's a part of the DMs that is the requests file,
Right.
and for people that don't have a big enough account that don't know, it maxes out at 99. So once you get to 99, it just says 99 plus. So
Yep.
everything that goes below that just doesn't exist to me anymore. And so I don't know how fast this thing is cycling, but I can literally, if I wake up one day, I had 4 hours, 5 hours of sleep, I could have gone through 100 DMs. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And they only stay there for a little bit. If you don't look at them, they disappear. So that people say like, "Hey, I messaged you," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I really didn't see it." And if you liked a comment or you posted something, that thing goes up so quick you don't even see it.
Yeah.
Um,
Could you
yeah.
imagine if you got doxxed? You know, if someone leaked your information online, like this is your actual
Oh.
home address, your home phone number, your personal email, can you imagine if they got like an access to you that couldn't be ignored? I feel
Lord have mercy.
so bad for these celebrities. Like, can you even imagine celebrities, like actual Hollywood A-list celebrities, multi-million followers in every genre? If if one of them gets doxxed, dude,
Yeah.
like there's no telling what type of problems that they're gonna have. It's not only like crazy fans, it's crazy fans. It's like want
Yeah.
to sniff your underwear fans.
Yeah, they want to wear your skin. Yeah, it's some
Yeah.
scary stuff. Yeah, it's that's and like you're Justin Bieber, right? Like here's this kid, 20 something, made $90 million in a year, and like they can't even go out in public. You can't go out and like sit down and have a sandwich anywhere. You can't go
No.
watch a movie. I mean, I lose my shit if somebody recognizes me. I mean, like I try not to make like locker about it because it's not. It's about the community. But every so often, I mean, you have to just show your face, and there's certain benefits. People see you that they make a relationship, and it's great. It's great to interact with people. I love it when people recognize me, but
Mm.
I couldn't imagine going out every single day and not being able to just use a public bathroom.
Oh yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, that's a problem that's thankfully not a lot of people have to deal with. And let's be honest, that's about the most first world problem you could ever worry about. If
Yeah,
you're
for
like,
real.
I got so many millions of dollars that people look at me weird. Oh, I'm so sorry for you and your millions of dollars.
Yep,
But
definitely.
the same thing happens to me every now and again. Like up until I started doing these podcasts, I really didn't put my face out there very much. And this is part of why I wanted to do it. I wanted to show that I'm actually a human being, and we're not just like there's people. The conspiracy of choice, the conspiracy du jour, was that I actually kept about 5 to 10 purple belts in my basement and would only feed them if they gave me memes. So I wanted to dispel that, and they are brown belts, and they're growing up, and I'm feeding them
You all
well.
have the same
There's lots of memes coming out, so they get like a good helping of my like little steaks. I can't afford that much.
let me say this. I mean, first off, I'm glad you did. You're a very good looking dude. There you go. So it's a good thing that you brought your face up. Boom, look at that. But you create content at a pace that I have no idea how you do it. You're coming out with fire all the time. And I've had people say like, man, like you're always coming out with stuff. And I'm struggling to just always be coming out with stuff.
Mm.
I look at your page and like, I'm like, damn, like you put out like 10 posts in an hour and they're all awesome.
I feel bad sometimes, quite honestly, because I get lulls and plateaus every now and again, but there's something about the way my brain works that is just the right frequency of ADD that I can just like thoughts coming. I'm like thought meme, oh that thought
Yeah.
meme, oh picture thought meme. It's really easy for me, but I've had like I'm let's be honest, the meme community is not that big, and the BJJ meme community is really not that big. So we all kind of know each other, and
Hmm.
I have a number of them be like, "Bro, I'm having a really hard time coming up with ideas today. Like,
Yeah.
I, I don't know if I can keep doing this." I'm like, "Dude, don't you dare talk like that. Like, you're doing a service to people. Like, this is
Hmm.
something that I hear constantly. If I'm um, affecting the world in a certain way, it's that I'm making people happy. And that to me is so important because I've dealt with a lot of friends that have depression and suicidal ideation, and like if there's any little glimpse of light that I can put into a Tuesday afternoon, like fuck, that's magic for me. I
That's
couldn't
beautiful.
I couldn't not do that. You know, for if I had 10 people following me and two of them were had that type of
Yeah.
reaction, they're like, man, your shit lights up my day, I'd keep going, you know.
No, I totally feel that. I mean, me personally, there's been many days where I'm like, man, like, things are just not going my way. And, I go on Instagram and you posted something, just made me laugh. I'm like, oh, all right, it's not that bad. I'm not as bad as I thought. And then just completely now I can change my day. So yeah, I mean, like,
Mm.
it's crazy how, especially now with social media, how we're so connected, in a second, you can just reach thousands and thousands of people. Like, there's nothing like this. And we're so blessed. We're so fortunate. And, yeah, man. I mean, this is a dream. I mean, I quit my job so I could pursue this full time.
You
And
did, or you would?
no, I did. I
Good
did.
for you.
Um, yeah, and I mean, it hasn't been easy, of course. Basically, I mean, it's a startup.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's the best choice that I've made. I mean, I'm pursuing two things that I love doing. I love jujitsu and leg locks, and I love meeting people. I love meeting people. I love talking to people. Hearing stories and yeah, I mean, it's like there's just so many fascinating people. And again, I don't want to get preachy, but I mean, if there's anybody out there, and like if there's anything holding you back from pursuing whatever your passion, your ability, your not whatever it might be, just do it. And now with like Instagram and so many other platforms for social media, you can reach so many people, and you never know, you might be that one voice that people want to hear. And as far as like leg locker goes, people ask me like, how are you so successful? I mean, is it skill? Yes, but a lot of it, luck. A lot of it is luck. And as far as for my pages, I was the first one. There was no other leg lock page that was out there. So I mean, like I was fortunate enough to be at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, there's a touch of that on my side as well. When I got into it, it was in 2015, and really the only big one on the scene at that point was BJJ Problems, who
Hmm.
started in 2012. Um, but it really wasn't a thing. Like e- even memes themselves were so archaic. Like I look back on them back then. There's for people who are in the know that watch the different trends of memes, there are actual like generations of memes. Like you could say epochs of memes that you if I were to tell you about a certain style, you'd be like, "Yeah, I haven't seen that style for a while." Yeah, bitch, because nobody does it anymore. Like like
Yeah.
there's new things that are coming in, there's old things that have gone the way. And when I first got in, just to date me in the meme calendar, it was at basically the apex, just about cresting, jumping the shark on having those pictures with the bold, thick white font with black
Yep.
outline. Yeah,
I
that
see
would
use
just
that.
have it would have like a setup up top and a punchline up down bottom, and that's it. And the generation before that, that was before my time, it would have the picture, and then it would have a big, thick black outline and some font underneath, like a motivational thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I never really touched that one. But nowadays, if you're paying attention, like it's used to be, or I shouldn't say used to be, it still is, but the fad was to have the picture and some font above it. But now it's becoming really popular to have a picture and the font inside the picture. So it's like, it shows a silly picture or whatever, and you put like, this is me, this is that, this is that. And that's the joke, is the way they're interacting, right?
How fascinating is that? That
Mm,
that within our like little genres, like there's that evolution, there's
yeah.
that constant evolution, and things are changing, and that's what I love about it. Whether it's jujitsu, whether it's leg lock, whether it's memes, things are always evolving, things are always changing, and it's cool that we get to be there when it happens.
Hmm.
Forget about being in the forefront; it's just being there when it's happening. And again, if you're like us, like where you always got to be creating, you always got to be doing. Like if I'm not doing something, if I'm not creating, I get really depressed.
Mm,
My brain functions best when I'm creating. Like that's when I'm
yeah.
happiest. Whether it's creating new stuff for leg locker, new videos, new techniques, whatever it might be. Like that's when I feel at my best. So yeah, it's so cool. Even with leg locks, like you see the trends, you see what's coming up, and it's yeah, man, it's so cool. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, that's I can echo that a lot in your story. I was a welder for 14 years.
No way.
Yep, and only very recently got out of the trade because it basically just dropped me on the side of the road as the facility I was working for just disappeared.
Mm.
And but thankfully, because of this, I was able to become a self-employed individual. So now I'm not welding anymore. I don't have to weld anymore. I'm making actual money through jujitsu, and it's like you were saying, like for people like us, for content creators, for artistic people, people who need to put their ideas out into the world, it's what drives me. Like when I was welding, I did not look forward to going to work. In fact, for the last 3 years, especially before I managed to get out, it was bad, man. Like I was a shitty guy at work. Like you didn't want to talk to me because I fucking hated it. And
Hmm.
and I made sure everybody knew that. And so when people asked me, um, how do you keep coming up with memes? I'm like, man, it is the brightest part of any day for me. Like it sounds weird to say it, but I look forward to the memes that I'm going to create like anybody else. I'm like, I wonder what's going to be the joke today. Like it's exciting for me. It gets my juices flowing. It's something that I want to do, and it's not like something I have to do because I got to make money.
And you know, how sad is it? Like there's so many people out there that just can't do that. They're just stuck in that job. They're stuck in that rut.
Yeah.
They're not doing what they want to do. Like I sympathize. I really do because you know, you have you ever thought about doing stand up? Have you ever thought about like actually like
I've thought about it, and I've tentatively put it on a bucket list. Like
okay,
it's one of those things that if you listen to the guys that do it, it has to be a full-time thing, and that's something I can't do. But I could dabble. I could probably dabble, and it's the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I could probably write a set and just do something locally here and see how it goes.
yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Like if there was like a jujitsu scene for like stand up, like taking memes to real life. Like that'd be dope.
I don't know if I would even do it with jujitsu to tell you the truth. Like there's this page that's on the DL. I'm starting to make some normie memes for, just
Okay.
memes about life, and it's so much easier.
I bet, yeah, because you have more to come up with, right? The things are
Yeah,
kind of like repetitive sometimes.
it's never-ending topics. Like with jujitsu, it's like, well, I gotta take this picture and jujitsuize it, which is a bubble. It's a tiny bubble. Whereas
Yeah.
any other meme's like, huh, I put my sock on. I could probably meme that.
Can I just say one of my favorite memes that you do is when you have a picture of someone and you give them a name and you come up with like this biography and then their favorite submission.
Yeah.
It, I have to make sure that I'm putting my coffee down, otherwise I'm gonna spit it out. You know, because like, bro, it kills me. I love it. Like it's crazy. Like how many trends you started, how many things
Mm.
that you changed. That's fantastic, man. Props to you, man.
Yeah,
Really.
thanks. There's some of my favorites, but honestly, they're becoming more and more difficult to come up with new ones because, man, like archetypes are archetypes because people can relate to them,
Right.
and there's only so many, especially within that bubble of jujitsu. It's like, oh yeah, I know that guy. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I'm at the point now between I think 4 or 5 different series I've done of those that there's probably like between 30 to 50 different archetypes I've made. So it's like I'm gonna have to really scrape the bottom of the barrel to keep bringing those ones back up that are new and haven't been done already.
You know, I'm on my phone a lot. I'm on Instagram hours a day, and I'm gonna give you credit because that's the one that I saw. You were the first one that would come up with a meme and then do like 6 or 7 other variations with that same one,
Hmm.
and that's pretty cool. I'm seeing that more and more now. Like people are starting to do that. Like they're
Yeah.
starting to follow.
Yeah, I'll take credit for that because I saw it
Nice.
starting to happen after the fact, and it's twofold. There's two reasons why I started doing that. Firstly, like you're saying, there's a science and there's a methodology to being good at Instagram, and part of that, honestly, all of it is just staying on the happy side of the algorithms. Okay, so
Mm,
if you want to grow a page, the more that you can have your page selected to be put into people's discovery feed, that's how you get new followers because they don't see your shit otherwise. How would they? They don't follow you.
right.
So your goal is to try to maximize your discovery on any given post. And one of the ways that I found when I started doing this, using carousels, so you can use anywhere from 2 to 10 different pictures on the same thing, you just swipe over, is it started to blow up discovery numbers. So like if I was getting a good discovery at 7% of people that haven't seen my account or don't follow me saw it,
Yeah.
if that was good for a single post, then a carousel would get me to like 28%.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, huh,
Big
okay, so there's something to this. But then the other thing was that was kind of derivative after I started doing it. I started noticing the effects, but I started doing it because I would find these templates that were just so rife with possibility that I
Uh-huh.
I would like I would strain myself of which joke I wanted to use. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like Highlander, there can only be one. But I was like, no, there can be 10.
I want all of them.
Yeah,
That's dope, man. Creative genius, man. Creative genius. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Well, I've started to as well aggregate my own memes now into series that I've done recently, like the best of
Hmm.
kind of series. So I've thrown some out there recently of best of Joe Rogan memes, best of Eddie Bravo memes, best of John Danaher memes, because they're these common characters in the scene that are so easy to meme that over the last 3 years that I've been doing it, I can just like scroll back through my feed and be like, oh, there's a good one. Oh yeah, I remember that
Mhm.
one, and bring them all together for like a 10 meme carousel, and people are like, oh yeah, I remember.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So what's new with you? What's new on the horizon for Because Jiu-Jitsu? Without like maybe revealing plans that are like premature, but like what's new with you?
Dude, there's so much going on. This is the thing I didn't expect when I became a self-employed entrepreneur is I guess I should have expected it because my brain is, I'm sure I've said it a million times, I'm super ADD. So
Mm,
I have like, it's kind of strange because I'm not a good multitasker because of it, but because of it, I've got 3 or 4 ideas happening simultaneously at all times.
I hear that.
So, so I'm having a hard time, honestly, focusing enough on one given thing because there's 4 things I want to do at once. So to answer your question, there's a lot of things that I'm working on, which is good because if any one of them starts popping, then it'll feed the others, you know?
I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But one thing, like you've been showering me with props, and I got to give it back to you because what you've been doing with, look at the shirt that you're wearing, is your graphic that you put out on your shirts and your rash guards. I see it everywhere. And I don't mean like just online. I see it in real life. Just people that I know, I show up at gyms and they're wearing the rash guard, or they're wearing the shirt, or I see them like with celebrities and they're wearing the shirt, or I see them, in matches and they're wearing the rash guard. And
Oh,
it's
cool, man.
huge. Like your tribe is legit, and I think that like props to you for the graphic art and also for the marketing, man. Like you did an excellent job with that first pre-sale launch that I'm actually trying to emulate myself. I've got my own first rash guard, uh, big reveal that's going to be dropping this
Which I've
year.
seen and it's awesome. Get ready for that. That's gonna
Thank
be
you.
really good.
Thank you. And I'm basically going to use the same model. I want to do a pre-sale so that I'm going to have that 7 days. People got time to get in and get their size, and then I just order exactly what they ordered to get it manufactured to order.
And I mean, great thing to talk about with people is if you're looking to get into clothing, you have to be patient because things take forever to come into fruition. I mean, between talking to people, designs, testing things out, getting a shipment and it's late and the shipment is damaged or it's missing articles or some things are misprinted, then things get lost in the mail. It's like, man, like you incur so many more headaches. Like, yeah, granted, you're doing what you love. No one thing is ever going to be free from problems, but it's like it's not like a cakewalk as like, so oh, you're just making
No.
shirts, it's like, no, like there's so much that goes into it. And yeah, just it's been a learning process. But yeah, man, thanks. I mean, and again, it's all the community. Leg locker is like, it's not me, it's you, it's everyone. We're just coming together. I'm just the guy that presses buttons, and it's not to take away or to try and be, like like or be over humble, but at the end of the day, like it's a lot of it is luck, and that's one thing that they never tell you in business. Like,
Mm.
yeah, you want to have a great product that people respond well to, and yeah, you want to be able to have a certain demographic and know your people. But at the end of the day, you can have a great product and just people don't like it, and been very fortunate, very fortunate.
Yeah, well, you keep doing that because you
Thank you, man.
started out with the long sleeve white, and then you came out with the short sleeve, and then you came out with the long sleeve black and the short sleeve black, and I'm like, I want them all.
And it sucks because I have like four more like designs here on my wall that I can't wait to come out with, and I'm just like, come on, just get them out there already. I gotta
Yeah.
I gotta take over the world. I don't have time
You
for
need a
this.
team. You can't rely on just
Yeah.
yourself. It can't all be Team Hector. You got to get this tribe working for you.
I can't afford it, but hopefully soon. Hopefully soon I can. One thing that I do want to do is I love artists. Like that's another thing too. And like this is one of my big inspiration has to be Joe Rogan. I mean that dude kind of like inadvertently opened up a path and showed a way.
Mhm.
And one thing that he does that makes him very successful is he does a lot of things. He does a lot of little things, like everything from like cooking to archery to like lifting to striking to jujitsu. So it makes him be able to reach more people, and then he brings them back to them. He brings them back to whatever his moneymaker is his podcast, whatever it is. Um, and one of my things is I love artists and I love meeting new artists, and I would love for my clothing line, my apparel line, to be almost like a canvas to where other artists, and that's the next one that
Mm.
I'm gonna be working with, is this really cool guy. He's from Hawaii. He goes by Communist Tactics, and he's a tattoo artist. and it's just meeting people and then finding ways that we can take their designs. There's another guy that I have in Europe. His name is Martin. He came up with this really cool design. So like that's what I want to do. Is I want to
Mm.
share the love, share the passion, and share people, share their art.
Yeah, you know who's been doing that for years too, and it's I think it's benefited them in their style is Ruka,
I'm not familiar with them.
uh, RVCA,
Oh,
Ruka.
oh, okay, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
I got you, guys.
they had, or I think they still have, what I think they were calling like the Free Art Collective. It's its own like series that comes out for like the fall line and the spring line, whatever. But within that art Free Art Collective, they have miscellaneous artists that come in and just do like a one-off piece. They'll paint it up and they'll put it on a shirt. And so
Gee.
every single design is different. It's unique. It's similar to like skateboard decks. Hey, like they would
Hmm.
have individual artists do their deck for whoever, Bob Burnquist or Tony Hawk or whatever. This artist would do it for this particular model, and it's the same thing with shirts. So it's a cool idea, man. Like it's branches out not only in helping the community, you're feeding artists, but at the same time it's reaching people with different styles that may not have liked the one that you came up with.
Right. Yeah, and that's true. Yeah, not every design people are gonna like, and some do gonna do better than others. But that's really cool. I'm glad they're doing that. It's a really good idea.
Yeah. So I'm gonna flip the script on you now. Like, obviously, you're saying you've got more rash guards coming out, but what else is on the horizon for Hector of Leg Locker?
I was gonna put this out to the community and be like, "What the fuck do you guys want?" Because I'm not gonna make something that you don't want. People want patches. I mean, that's
Mm,
always simple. Hats, but right now I'm really I find designing rash guards in shirts like tops really easy, but shorts and spats like I'm always so just like I can't ever really decide where I want to put it because you have to factor in like, well, what kind of shorts are they wearing? Where are they going to be able to see it? Like, are they going to just be wearing pantaloons? Are they one of those people that just go out there, just with spats on? You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of things, but that's one thing. As far as apparel goes, fanny packs,
oh,
toothbrushes, socks.
are you
What else?
serious?
No, no, I'm just kidding. Just naming out shit.
That's
But
funny because I know a company that did that. They made their own toothpaste and toothbrushes. It was
yeah,
uh, damn it, why can't I? It's coming to mind right
that's
now. John, he makes kawaii kimonos.
okay.
Yeah, he's in LA, and he makes his own kimono brand out of I forget where, Bali or something like that. But he for like this specific drop of geese, whoever bought it got this toothbrush toothpaste that he made.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious. That's so
yeah.
awesome.
He's got
One
this.
thing that I'm go ahead.
I was just gonna say he's got a catchphrase that goes with it. This is brush your teeth. It was always like a thing for his geese. I don't know if there's an inside joke or whatever. So eventually he just started sending people toothpaste.
That's so genius. That's
Yeah.
that's really cool. That's a nice little touch. One thing that I would like to do, and if anyone's listening out there and they can make this happen, I would love to come out with a CBD line.
Mm,
I would love to do that. I think it's only fair. You do leg locks, you get broken. Now I can help you
mm.
get fixed.
Hey, there you
So
go.
yeah.
Did you know there was this is, I'm gonna fuck this up, but historically, going back to Japan when judo was branching off into or jujutsu was branching off into judo, there was a timeline in there where judoka started pulling guard with kosen judo. And
Mm.
there was a famous person, I can't remember their name, and I've got my friend Logan coming on later this week, who is like a martial arts historian that'll set me straight. But tune in for that one if you're interested in martial
Cool.
arts history. But this guy, he was actually the town bone setter. That was his job during the day. And then at
Oh,
night,
chiropractor.
no, bone setter, like broken bones.
Oh,
So he
okay.
would heal people that were literally busted up. And at nighttime, he taught this judo where he would break people on the tatamis. So it was like a self-serving cycle.
This is a scam.
Yeah,
This smells like a scam. We're
yeah.
like you walk into the office and like, weren't you the guy that just fucked me up? Like, yeah, and I want to fix you. Pay me.
I,
Like,
I
what?
know exactly how it broke.
Exactly. I'm the one that did it. That's funny. Wow. Crazy.
uh, yeah. So what is it like training at? I would consider your gym the 10th Planet Freaks gym. Like
Yes.
I see the pictures of the after class, and it looks like a mob. It looks like a bunch of hooligans going to burn a building down. Like there's so
Yeah.
many people. What's it like training at what I would consider one of the destination gyms that people travel to? You get a lot of like other people from gyms coming through, I assume.
Right. I mean, it's crazy. That 6:30 class. I mean, like sometimes we'll have like 50 people there. It's like a seminar, and there's like no place to roll, and they've had to um like try to like make more mat space like 3 times already. Like they just keep turning on walls. Like fuck bathrooms. Like we don't even need them anymore. Like we just put mats down. Just keep throwing mats down. It's fantastic, man. It's like any jujitsu school. I mean, like everyone's laid back. Everyone's really friendly. Everyone's really aware of each other. It's great. I've trained at many other gyms, and it's not to say that it's unique in its own way, but Boogie and the team, they're really good at creating a very friendly atmosphere where everyone feels welcome.
Mm.
There's no politics, there's no bullshit. There's only just love for the sport, and I think people respond really well to that. I mean, just with owning a school, there's so many variables that you can't ever really like know what's going to work and what's not going to work. But they have a really good team. They have great instructors. They have Gabe. Gabe is a phenomenal instructor. He's a brown belt there. He's done the EBI trials a couple times. They have purple belts there that will assist class that are just killers, and it's just great. It's great. You know,
Did you start with them, or did you come in after the fact?
I started with YouTube. I was a
Ah, nice.
100%. Yeah, I was a YouTube guy. Well, I mean, I was doing Taekwondo, and
Right.
with traditional martial arts, you sometimes have like the like where like you have your master, and you can't train at other schools, and you can't learn other styles. That's taboo. Like once you're karate to the death. And I was like, but I want to learn this jujitsu stuff. It works. So I just started going on YouTube, and I would look at like Brandon McCaffrey's videos and like a rubber guard, and look at Riley Bodycomb and Eddie Cummings doing leg locks, and that's how I learned. I would just grab people and be like, hey, let me practice, let me twist this, let me mess with you, and that little by little is what started me on the journey. And I actually I started back. I was messing around, dabbling, but I didn't get serious till 2015. I had just come back from Korea. I went to a Taekwondo trip, and I was like, man, like this is not me. Like I'm not feeling this.
Mm.
14-hour flight. Get off the flight. I drove to 10th Planet. Horrible jet lag. Signed up. Went to bed. Slept for 13 hours. Then went to the 6 a.m. class.
Wow.
And just been messing around ever since.
So how many years is that now?
About going on almost 3.5 years.
Holy shit, you're a baby.
Yeah, relatively.
You're you're so into it. You're one of
Oh,
those keeners.
I'm what Eddie Bravo would probably refer to as a nerd assassin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
But look, man, like 3 years to me doesn't sound like much, but I mean, there's people that get their black belt in that time.
yeah, fuck them. Fuck them. I
I
hate
know.
them. All right, like your BJ Penn, your Kyle
Yeah,
Terra,
let's list
these
them
these
off.
freak
Got,
freak athletes. Yeah, you're like you can literally count them.
I think
Well,
Kit Dale was 4.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he sucks. No,
Yeah.
I'm just
He
kidding. I know he's
sucks.
gonna be in your show too.
Yeah, drop your bombs now. You get in
That's
first.
right. Yeah. Who else? Yeah, well, I think Geo got his belt.
He got his like 3.5, something like that.
Yeah.
Even Boogie was pretty quick.
Yeah. That's wild,
So,
man.
so you just said fuck them to your coaches. I hope they caught that.
Oh, oh shit! I'm gonna get Darce now.
Well, let's be honest. You're getting Darced anyways.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Darce anyway. Now I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna have to tap multiple times
Yeah.
before. You
So I watch clearly from the sidelines when it comes to that gym, but
know.
I know that Boogie's Darce game is just next level. Like I know that if I for whatever reason had to have a match against him, I want to learn everything there is about Darce because he's coming at me with Darce for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Geo is a Rubik's Cube to me. I have no idea what he's going to do because he does it all. Every match I see is like a different Geo. Like he went bolo for bolo with Paulo Meow, and then he went like legs for legs with Eddie Cummings, and like he's still like taking people down and passing to Mount. Like there's no this is his path. You know, if it was Marcelo Garcia, I could tell you step for step what his path is. If it's Roger Gracie, I can tell you step for step what his path is, and everybody else. Like, you name the list of all these guys. Gio is
Mhm.
one of these guys that's just like, he's a grab bag, man. That's dangerous.
Well, both of them were dancers before. And I want to believe that them breakdancing developed some unique ability as far as their ability to learn moves and be able to actually do them. Boogie's really good with his darces. I mean, his body type is just conducive to that. He's got very, very long arms. Like I said, he darts me from my own guard. The fuck, like that hurt twice as bad. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Why? And like, and the thing with Geo is he's both of them. I mean, they're just these submission geniuses, and I don't say that lightly. It's just like they just have this natural ability to just be very hyper aware of what you're doing in relation to their body, and that's why he's just so
Mm.
quick with them. And every time I roll with them, it's always a free private lesson. It's just always like, just man, it's like you realize how infinite, how infinite jiu-jitsu is. And even them, I mean they've had success in the competition scene, but there's people that are way more successful than them, and that just blows your mind. Like,
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah, I was talking about this with one of my previous guests, Ryan Quinn, and we were talking about the battle that Buchecha had, his second one with Roger Gracie, and kind of like the lead up in the jiu-jitsu universe as that built for years. Because what it was Roger Gracie left the scene, and the king that took over when Roger Gracie left the scene was Rodolfo Vieira, and Rodolfo was unbeatable. He was double golding everything, worlds, ADCC. He was unstoppable. Nobody could deal with Rodolfo. He was too much.
Hmm.
And then Buchecha hit the scene, and then Buchecha, Rodolfo had no answer for. Every single match that they had, Buchecha always won. So he was the next level. So it went Roger, and then it went Rodolfo, and then it went Buchecha. But then, lo and behold, this is the way the jiu-jitsu universe happens: is Roger says, "Hold the tick, I'm still here," and he comes
Mm.
back as the 2 generations old king, comes back and dismantles the new king, who is actually a step above the old king, who what came after the king that came forward and took out Buchecha. It's so bizarre, you know what I mean? Talk about infinite possibility.
Beautiful. It's crazy. It's like there's we're all sharks, but then there's bigger sharks,
Mm.
and you just have to figure out where you fall.
This is something that's was interesting to me. Are you a purple belt?
Blue belt.
Okay, I'm just gonna assume you're a purple belt. You sound like a purple belt. You hold yourself like a purple belt. So
Oh, thing. It's a t-shirt. If you guys buy this, it comes with like the broad shoulders.
nice. Okay, so for this podcast, you're a purple belt. I'm giving you
Right on.
rights. Okay.
Thank you.
Um, I was talking to a two-stripe black belt a little while back. I referee a bunch of tournaments, and he was one of the refs there. And we were chatting on the sidelines in between matches, and he was saying, um, I forget how it came up in conversation, but essentially he just nonchalantly said, "Oh yeah, purple belt's not that far from black." I was like, "What are you talking about?
Mm.
It's 2 belts away from black." He's like, "Oh no, like once you got your purple, you're only a few years away." And I started thinking about it. I'm like, "Oh my God, purple belt in a lot of systems could be 4 years away from black belt, which once you're a black belt, it takes like 4 years to get your first stripe on it. So that really is, for a two-stripe black belt to say purple belt is close to black. It's actually true. And I started realizing at that point and paying attention that purple belt really is the first belt that can touch black belt. You see purple
Point.
belts out there that they start racking up those names and those little gym victories and those tournament victories and absolute divisions where they can take out a black belt, and things start to get real squirrely at purple belt. And I made sure to make a note in my brain that's like, never ever take a purple belt lightly, because that is where you got to start taking them seriously.
That's a really good point. Yeah, there's a lot of cases where purple belts will take out established black belts, or black belts that have been competing for a while. But just with any belt, I mean, like you can't take. I mean, maybe for a white belt, but even blue belt. Sometimes blue belt will surprise you. Like there was a video where like this blue belt, I think he heel hooked some black belt in some random obscure tournament.
There
It
was
happened.
one that just happened in our local scene here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's just it's wild. I mean, yeah. Granted, like normally those purple belts that can touch a black belt are the same ones that end up being like superstar black belts themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's totally true. So true.
But again, like they're only a few years removed from being that superstar black belt. So really, how much has their game changed in those few years? It's gotten a little sharper, but it's the same game.
Right. That's totally true.
Yeah.
Totally true.
So all that to say, you may be a baby at 3 years, but you're not that far off of being a superhuman. You're gonna be a superhuman. Maybe I'm just slow. I've had it. This is 11 years now for me, and I'm just slow. That's all it is.
Oh, I don't feel like I'm like a super genius. I mean, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I was always under the impression that to get to black belt, it takes at least over 10 years,
Mhm.
at least to get. Sometimes less, sometimes more.
Yeah, I always felt like 8 years was about the beginning of where you could hit black belt. You
Yeah.
know, anything before that, fuck you.
I've heard purple belt being referred to as like the rolling belt. Like that's when you really learn how to roll. Like you have your style, you have your language, you have your your go-to moves, and then
Mhm.
everything else after that is just basically just reinforcing that those techniques and just sharpening them until they're just like razor sharp.
Yeah, I want to say that's a Solo Ibero thing. Yeah.
Funny enough, I actually took a couple classes with Salo at the University of Jiu-Jitsu
Mm-hmm.
right before I tore my ACL, and
And
no, I mean it was great. It was great. It was great, very good instruction. I mean, like the first class they were teaching us rolling back takes.
mm.
Like I thought it was super cool. But I tore my ACL like right after, and by the time I come back, my buddy got me into 10th Planet.
Brought
Yeah,
you down to hell, dragged you by your
yeah.
ACL down to
Well,
leg locker dungeon.
well, here's the thing. Like nothing against gi. I like putting on the spandex. I feel like Spider-Man.
I
Like I
feel
just put it on.
pretty.
Yeah, man. I'm like, I'm a damn Power Ranger. Let's do this. I'm like, I'll wear that out in public. I don't care.
That was
Can't
one
we?
of my jokes a while ago. Is Nogi is superhero cosplay.
That it totally is. Hey, like I make fun of gi players. I call them they're wearing the pajamas. I'm in cosplay. It's cool. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
yeah, and I say that gi is ancient Japanese cosplay.
It really is.
Nobody's wearing a kimono out here. What are you doing? What are you doing?
That's so funny, man.
Yeah, like, oh well, it's the same as if someone's wearing a jacket. I'm like, oh really? Worm guard that guy with the jacket. Let me see that. I'm waiting.
Oh man,
It's
that's
not the same. Let's be
no.
honest.
Yeah, there was this one video where I saw where this guy, I think they might have been white belts. This guy took off his belt and choked the other guy with it. And I'm thinking, I'm like, where's the ref during all this? Because like, if this is legal, the ref is like, fuck it, let's just see what happens. Like, why not? And the dude has like he has like around his neck, and then he's like pushing on it. Where it's like, I'm like, what the?
This is a murder.
I have to find the video. If anybody can find the video, it has to be on YouTube.
I've
It's like,
seen one like that, and that's
yeah.
that's an illegal move in most places for obvious reasons. You're basically garroting somebody. You know, like for a ref to look at that and be like, "I'll allow it."
Yeah,
He's basically being like, "Yeah, I mean, they signed the waiver. Let him die."
bro, I will do gi if I can use my belt as a weapon.
There we go. Just
Because
take
you
it
can
off
even
right
bro,
away and like hold it and like tie people up with it right
bro,
away.
I'm gonna be doing like lasso shit and wrapping people's legs, literally leg locking them. No,
You know what blows my mind, and I wish that maybe I'll do it a few years down the line when I get a little better. But you ever see those promotion videos where the coach promotes somebody while they're rolling and changes their belt?
yes, yeah.
That is the coolest shit. Anybody who has done that, fucking props to you. That is the most amazing video, and I'll watch it every time.
I don't know why they make it so hard. Look, take their back, choke them out. Once they're unconscious, tie their belt on, and then when they wake up, they're like, "Oh shit, I got a new belt."
You just
It's so
life hacked this thing.
that's right. Boom. Next, what's next?
Right on.
That would be like the worst thing ever. Can you imagine?
So I'm like, parents, we're doing promotions today. Make sure to have your camera. There's going to be a surprise.
Oh my god.
6-year-old
Well,
Jimmy didn't see it coming. He's a gray belt
oh,
when he woke up.
that is terrible. That is terrible. Love it. I love it.
Yeah. Do you do any of the teaching, like kids class stuff or anything like that?
I actually before I started doing jujitsu, I was a full-time martial arts instructor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I did that for almost the entire time I trained. I started when I was a kid, got to a certain rank. Life happened, went to school, started playing football, chasing girls, time wasted. And then I came back to it, and then pretty much like 9 months after getting back into it, started teaching. And I feel that a lot of what I learned from the business side of martial arts, because I was, managing a school. The school had like about 350 active members. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I got a lot of business experience, but kind of like going to like the whole teaching aspect, like yeah, like I was able to get some experience with that. But working with kids, it's fun. It makes you a better instructor, because you have to be like, really creative, and you have to like, like try to keep their attention. um but I would much rather work with adults. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but as far as jiu-jitsu goes, like, yeah, I mean, I've done a couple lessons here and there, but no, I'm never like really teaching classes.
Oh, okay. I've recently started teaching kids,
Mm.
and man, is it an adjustment. After a decade of basically showing adults how to do things, I've gotten way too comfortable using 9-syllable words that I know that people will understand, that I have to start thinking of the kindergarten way to explain things. You know?
Yeah, yeah,
You can't
totally.
you can't use words like leverage or momentum. Like they don't know what you're saying. They don't know. It's just
No,
like I want I want Jamie. I want your foot. Oh no, other foot. Okay, no, your hips are. Can I please, Jamie? No, stop spitting in his ear, Jamie.
and you can't use left and right. You use left and right with a kid,
Oh
like,
yeah.
huh? What?
To be fair, I didn't learn left and right till I was like 13
I
years
was gonna
old.
say that, like, with some adults too. I'll be like, your other left. Come on now.
When somebody showed me, I could hold up my hand in an L and it makes sense. Like, oh, that's the left. Oh my God! Thank you, baby Jesus. You made me left on this side. Amazing.
Oh man, yeah, yeah. Dude, working with kids is tough. And then the thing about jujitsu, obviously, I think it's more for adults. Like the young adults, teenagers. So trying to teach like a 5-year-old, 4 year
Yeah,
old, like first off, to just stand in place, like, hey, don't move, pay attention. That's tough, man. It's tough.
yeah. I'm having a dilemma of sorts, trying to figure out at what point I'm going to start teaching submissions because none of them have even touched that yet. They're still learning
Yeah,
basic fundamental movements. Like they don't
yeah,
even know the names for all the positions yet, you know? So am I going to teach them an armbar when they don't even know that this is side control? Yeah,
right.
you know? And
Yeah,
I don't know where that point is going to be, but it's an interesting, it's a different experiment because with adults, I'm pretty ad lib when it comes to submissions. Like, dude, I'll teach you a slicer first class if you want. But
right.
with kids, I want to be a little more comfortable knowing that they have control.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the instructor, it depends on the kid. I think that that's the best way, is just teaching them coordination, teaching them body awareness, movement. I think that's the most important thing. I don't really see a necessity for it. If the kid is one of those brilliant kids that can just pick it up, maybe you can do private lessons with them on the side, move 'em to the side, and now you have a competition
Mm,
team. But as far as like a class as a whole, you almost have to find like the medium of like, all right, those are the advanced kids, those are the kids that the Lord have mercy on them. And now I just got to find the balance where they're not going to be bored and they're not going to be overwhelmed. And as
yeah,
an instructor, like that's always like the hardest balance. Yeah, no, I totally understand, especially with jujitsu, because like with karate, like you can punch and kick the air, it's no big deal, they can make
yeah,
it look good. But teaching a kid like an Americana, and like first off they can't understand, then like, oh, this and this, and then like whoop, there
yeah.
goes the arm, and then there goes the school. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, you signed that waiver, right?
yeah, please, that's right.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's different. And for that reason, like you were saying, teaching adults is like, oh, finally, I get a
Oh, yeah.
break. Like kids, I take so much more seriously. Like I can just walk into an adults class and be like, guillotines today. Okay, we're gonna do the guillotines, and away we go. You know, for kids class, I gotta be like, we're gonna start with this. We're gonna do this game. We're gonna do this movement drill. We're gonna have a water break. We're gonna have it all laid out. Where
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for 1 hour, I have it like in 5-minute increments. I gotta have it laid out. But then with the adults, it's like, yeah, keep drilling. It's time to
Right.
roll.
And then you get those parents, like they just don't get, like, look, this takes time. And like if you don't believe, take class with the kid. You take class as well, so you understand like what this kid is going through.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I much rather work with adults. I love kids, I love working with them, but rather do adults.
So level with me here, Hector.
What's up?
On the real,
Hmm.
How often are you attacking legs and how often are you not?
I would say I'm attacking legs 95% of the
Holy
time.
shit.
If
You're
you roll with me, I'm leg herpes. You're not getting rid of me. I'm
that's
stuck to you.
that's the realest answer you could have had for a leg
Yeah.
locker account.
It's like glitter.
I
You're not gonna get me off of you.
I love leg locks, and to the point that I've literally taught 3 seminars dedicated to leg locks. Like I love the game. I understand it to a pretty good level. I wouldn't say that I'm like elite by any standard, but
Same.
I can teach seminars on this shit comfortably.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, yes, I will attack your legs, but 95% of the time I'm going for arm bars. And it's not even like it's on accident. They're just there. So
Yeah.
I had to ask because like I would consider myself part of the tribe. I'm a leg locker, but damn, like it's in that 5% range.
Well, I mean, like I like playing guard. I because of the 10th plan system, I'm familiar with guard, but my legs aren't like that long. I'm flexible, but I'm like those crazy people that can just grab their legs and just put them behind them, and they have no like their ligaments are made of like jelly beans. Like they have super flexibility. Um, I mean, I can do it, but my body because of my height and whatever, just leg locks just they're just easier for me.
Okay, so you were born without a soul?
I would say so. Yeah.
The
Or
life
I've
chose
been
you?
stripping it away. Yeah, that's right. They just chose me. And then with Boogie too, like I'll dart every once in a while, but like most of the time, like the typical like use the legs to get the pass, use the pass to get the legs. Like that's like my
Mm.
approach to rolling.
The bidirectional approach.
Correct.
That sounds so sexy.
Mm. Sometimes I'll be in a north-south position and I'm about to sink a north-south choke. I'm like, fuck it, those legs look better over there. I'm gonna leapfrog to you and get to that leg, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna
I
do.
just thought of a new shirt for you. You got to have one that says "I'm bidirectional."
Bi-directional. That'll definitely get some questions from people. Somebody like, true story. Let me tell you this. When I first made this shirt,
Uh-huh.
making sure that this was right was the most stressful thing.
I can imagine.
I bought a shirt one time. It had this really cool dragon. It was like red and blue, and it had like the Japanese lettering. I'm sorry, it was Chinese lettering. And I went with a couple friends of mine and went to a Chinese restaurant, and I was getting a bunch of dirty looks. And I'm like, all right, they're just looking at me because I have like a dragon. Like, oh, there's a dude trying to be all kung fu-y.
Yeah.
But I was getting like real like people were like, I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck is wrong with my shirt? And I asked the waiter, I'm like, hey, do me a huge favor. Can you tell me what this says? And he's like, minority. I was like, oh. So I was wearing this shirt that said minority on it. And then my thought was like, who the fuck puts a cool dragon and minority on the side? Like this was a trap. Like you totally like you did this
That's
to mess
funny.
with me.
This,
Yeah.
you know what's funny? The friend I was telling you about, Logan, who's the historian, he is so deep into martial arts. He was born into martial arts. His dad is like a 30-year black belt in karate, and he's a second-degree black belt himself in karate. And like he was born into that lifestyle,
Mhm.
so much so that he speaks Japanese, that he has a
Wow.
Japanese wife whose family lives in Japan, and he goes over and travels and visits. And he sends me these pictures, and he's like, I just had to share it with somebody. And as bad as it is for you getting these Chinese writing that you think looks cool and don't know what it says, it
Yeah.
happens over there in English to a hilarious extent. You can go online and search for this shit, but they will have like a big old smiley face or like a unicorn, and it'll have like big bubble print that says happy fuck face.
No way.
And they'll like these, it has to be the exact same thing as these Japanese people that don't speak English think like, oh, that's cool, it's English, that's cool, I'm gonna wear it. I bought it, it's $15, I'm gonna wear it over to America. And they come over to America with this unicorn that says happy fuckface, and I imagine they get a lot of looks.
We're just silly. We're all just silly. We're all
Well, man,
just taking these cultures.
I
I love it.
got I got a tattoo of kanji on my arm here. I don't know if you can see that. It is the original karate style I took, Goju Kai. Um,
Okay.
and I got this off of my sensei's belt. It was in like
Oh wow.
embroidered on his belt, and that's why I was pretty sure that it was right.
Yeah.
But I tell you, man, after that ink got laid to skin, I got real nervous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because there was no way to be like, can I just go online and find this? Because there wasn't at that time. This was like 2002.
Yeah.
Um, and
And Google Translate sucks, by the way. Like that's not a reliable source.
yeah, that was years down the line of artificial intelligence from where we were at that point.
Yeah.
Um, so eventually I found somebody who spoke and wrote in kanji. And I was like, once I heard his accent and I could tell that he spoke good English, I was like, could you please do me a favor? I went whoosh like this. I'm like, without even telling,
Sweat.
yeah, without even giving him a backstory, I'm like, please just read this phonetically, word for word. He says, Go Ju Kai. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Oh, thank
Oh, thank
God.
God. It could have been anything.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a scary thing messing with other languages, but man.
How bad would you feel to get a shipment of, I don't know, 200 units of this beautiful rash guard that the thingy that should have gone this way went the other way, and now
Yeah.
it says like I don't know, incest or something?
Yeah. I would want to
Leg
fight it. I
incest.
would just let incest. Just roll with it, bro. Just roll
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it. Make a move. Make a DVD out of it. You'll just
No, it's a move. You just don't know it. You'll learn.
you'll learn it.
The tribe knows.
That's right. And speaking on the tribe, like there's like the leg locks don't work, which was pretty much 100% started by Vinny.
I wanted to bring this up because this is so perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's really funny. Some people don't know it's a joke, and they're like I've gotten messages like, "Why are you saying that? Why do you stand for leg locks? Are you saying that they don't work?" I'm like, "It's a joke." And they're like, "Oh, but why?" And to tell you the truth, there's no real answer. There's like no specific, like there's so many people that have their own like reason as to why it is. And when people ask me, like I try my best, but the reason why it's if you don't know this, Vinny has really flexible feet too. Like his ankles move in certain ways. So trying to leg lock people that are just like hypermobile, leg locks don't work on them. Whether you're doing
Hmm.
like an Achilles lock and even some heel hooks, it just doesn't work. So yeah, there's people out there that they leg locks don't work, but that kind of like became the thing, and now it's kind of like a sarcastic way of like making fun of people that treat leg locks as a taboo, is just kind of like putting in their face like, yeah, they do work. But so this is what I tell people: leg locks work until they don't, then leg locks don't work, and that's it.
Is there like a algorithmic equation for this? I feel like you could lay it out in.
Maybe I'm just not good with math, and I'm not good at making equations, so just take it for face value. Just take it for what it is.
This is very philosophical, though.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit, but
Leg locks work precisely until they don't. After that point, you'd be surprised. They don't work.
yeah, and hopefully we can put that on a shirt sometime soon.
There's gonna be, if Vinny comes out with a shirt that says leg locks don't work, I'm going to personally buy 2 copies and send them to the Meow Brothers.
Yeah, oh, there's another two. Yeah, those guys don't. I mean, I don't even think they have ligaments anymore. I think
Uh,
they're just like bone on bone. They don't care.
yeah, they blew that shit like 2 years in, and they did not get surgery. I mean, look at Paulo. He still got a chip on his tooth because he doesn't want to take time away from the mat to get it fixed.
They're savages. Like you
Oh
see them stand, and their feet are like this.
yeah,
They're is wild.
there was a picture. I think it was Edwin Najmi at purple belt was going against Paulo or Joao, one or the other, in Mondials and Worlds in the gi, and he
Hmm.
had him in a straight ankle lock, and it was one of the standing straight ankle locks where he's like lifting him off the ground by his foot, and you look at the picture, and it's like bent like a
Yeah,
banana, and Paulo has this like, or Joao or whoever has this stone look on his face, like bitch, keep trying, like
yeah,
this is
yeah,
not even about to happen. There's something not right about those ligaments.
yeah, yeah. That's when leg locks don't work. Do you remember that five grappling, the one with
Yes, with Gary
Gary?
Tonin, yeah.
Yeah, and you just see everyone just on the side. They're just like, oh, nothing.
I'm glad I didn't eat before watching that because I would have puked all over the screen. It was grotesque.
Yeah, man, like that thing was backwards. That was like some exorcist shit.
Yeah,
Didn't even blink.
I was talking to someone. I won't out their name, but you would know them by name, a black belt, uh, at a five grappling event, and I was asking them like, what is it that the Meow Brothers are doing that makes them so impervious to leg locks? Is there stretching, or is it like, is there certain body types? Like, what do you think it is? He's like, oh, they're just constantly hurt. It's like there's no secret to it. They just keep training. Like, trust me, their legs are fucked, but they just keep training.
You can't break something that's already broken.
Yeah, like
Look,
it was the same thing. I asked the same question about Keenan. It's like, look, there's a reason why there's always tape on these guys' ankles when they're competing. Like, you look at the guys out there, Felipe Peñas, they're always taped up. The Homelos, they're always taped up, and it's not for looks. Like, they don't want to look like Sabat off Street Fighter. It's because they're all the way fucked up.
how injured are you like right now? Like, do you have injuries right now?
Me, yeah, I'm healing a right foot. I got toe held pretty badly at a super fight about 3 weeks ago. So I'm about 60%. I just started rolling 2 days ago, so it's been about 3 weeks off the mats.
There's
But
one thing I never tell you about jujitsu at first. Like, you're always gonna be in pain, but you're gonna enjoy it all the time. Up until you have to go to bed. For some reason, like sleeping is sometimes so difficult for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's if you don't think that jujitsu hurts, either you're not training hard enough or you're not training with the right people because it should hurt. The
Yeah.
next day should be agonizing to get out of bed
Yeah.
and go to work.
Oh yeah. I saw like a transformer in the morning when I got out of bed. Everything's popping and cracking.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying to like get moving, trying to get my body to like do what I needed to. That's
Mm.
why I'm a big fan of CBD too. It really does help. It's just enough to where I don't have to resort to like ibuprofen anymore.
Well, this ankle injury is the first time that I've used it. I had a friend hook me up with some CBD balm. It's like a
Hmm.
rub on, and I I don't know that it didn't work because the thing was just it was puffed up like a balloon for a week. Okay,
Yeah.
so if something's helping, I don't know because it still hurts, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I've been using it. I've used like half the balm so far, and I'll keep using it because
Have you
I hear
tried the
good things.
drops? Have you tried the drops?
No, like under the tongue.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's that to me. That's the best way. And I know that it's legal now, right? It's legal in Canada, medically. No, it's not.
You have if you can get a script for it from a doctor, yes. But we're coming up on federal legality coming up October the I want to say 17th
Okay, I'll pray
of
for you.
this year. Yeah, of this year.
Okay.
Pray for all of Canada. We're all gonna be high.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, yeah. If we weren't nice enough already.
Yeah, and you know it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like I know that Canadians get like a lot of shit sometimes, but in every circumstance where I've met someone from Canada, they've been nothing but the nicest people.
Mm.
And I don't know if that's like a universal truth, but man, like some of the nice people I know have been from Canada.
I don't know. I was born and raised in Canada, so Canadians are basically the standard for me, and everybody else sucks. They
Right
just
on.
they're mean and assholes. It's like, why is everybody an asshole? It's, no, because you're too nice. That's the problem. So,
Oh no.
yeah, yeah. But
Crazy.
so yeah, October it's going to be legal federally. So it's kind
Okay.
of it's backwards to the way it's working in the states because in the states pot is illegal federally.
Yeah, and it
In
always will be.
the United States, it's illegal, but
Mm.
the states themselves can make their own little mandates where they can say, yes, it's legal in this state for this reason, for this purpose, for this amount, for this, blah, 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 blah. They can make their own little list of rules.
Right.
Um, it's vice versa. It's going to be up here in Canada where federally they're legalizing it across all 13 provinces and territories.
Great.
But the provinces and territories have the right to put their own sanctions and levies on.
Okay.
So I've already looked at the list because it's already been figured out in bills and shit. The list of what's allowed where. And let me tell you, dude, if you're coming up to Alberta, you good because they want to get high here.
They'll fit right in over here, California. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. That's one thing that for sure I'm gonna say this, and hopefully like I don't end up eating my words, but that's never gonna pass federally here in the U.S. Forever and ever. It's gonna be state.
Mm.
There's too much money for big pharmaceuticals over here. They don't want to lose money.
Well,
They don't.
tell me though, what purpose does it serve if all 50 states legalize it for it to still be federally illegal? Is there some like legal reason why that would make sense?
No, you just realize that it's corrupt. That's all it is. It's just kind of outing itself. It's exposing itself. That that
Mm.
there's obviously a lot of money in people's pockets. Decision makers that just they're never gonna allow it. It's
Yeah.
it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and I don't think you guys have this where there's commercials for prescription medication.
No,
We have
there's
here.
only two countries in the world that allow that. It's you
Yeah.
and New Zealand. That's it.
And it's comical. If you ever like look at one of those commercials, it's like a minute long and 45 seconds is telling you all the ways this medicine is going to kill you.
Hmm.
And you're like, why would I want to do this? Like, why can you just take that plant over there that it would take like 15 tons of it for it to kill me?
Hmm.
But it just goes to show like how corrupt our system is. And it's a really unfortunate thing.
Yeah, it's the joke is that there's a war on drugs. No, there's a war on some drugs, very
Yeah.
specific drugs. There's actually a bountiful excess of other ones, and let me hook you up. Your doctor can give you a script that'll get you all sorts of legally high.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's really sad, man. It's really, really sad. Hopefully, as the this generation leaves and the next one comes
Mm.
up, hopefully it'll be a little bit more progressive in this sense.
Well, I'm excited for the medicinal, or I shouldn't even say medicinal. When I say medicinal use, I'm thinking of like actual diseases that you're treating. It's more of a therapeutic use when it comes to BJJ generally. I'm looking forward to the open therapeutic use of CBD and THC.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping, because like you're saying, man, waking up in the morning is not getting easier. And if there are little life hacks that can make it better, I'm
Oh,
all
for
for
sure.
that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh, so man, we need it. We definitely need it. And if you're going to be doing jujitsu, you do not want to be taking Tylenol and ibuprofen. It just makes it worse. It just flares up your injuries even more. And actually, I developed acute pancreatitis from taking too much.
What does
I was
that
taking
do?
um what I don't. It was just painful. It felt like I had a rib out of place, but it
Ugh,
was just basically it was swollen because I was taking over 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen a day. Screwed up my stomach. I had both bleeding and it was all kinds of bad. Got off of it, started just taking CBD. Everything went away.
nice.
Yeah, I mean I still hurt, but now I don't have to rely on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's good. 1,000 milligrams is completely insane.
It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's too much.
Well, guys, if you are still in the chat bar and want to throw some questions out here for Hector, for myself, now's your chance. I can scan over kind of what's still here. I think they're just talking as we were talking, but if you got any specifics, feel
Can I see
free.
that? Can I see the
If you go
the?
on to Twitch, onto my channel, you can see it, but you'll need to mute the video, otherwise we're going to be getting some
Oh, okay. Oh,
feedback.
I'll just let you handle it then.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Sweet.
So, well, one guy's here saying, very nice talk. You guys are awesome. Off to bed. It's 2 a.m. here in Belo Horizonte, Brazil. Brazil!
Hey,
Big
shout out to you guys.
shakas.
Yeah, thank you guys for staying up. Cool,
Right
cool.
on. Now, I'm surprised at the amount of following I have in Brazil, considering it's a primarily Portuguese country.
Yeah, and I'm my biggest following is from Brazil, and they hate leg locks. So I don't know. It's crazy.
Nice. Uh, yeah, we'll give them a couple minutes. I don't know if there's someone still in there or not, and I don't want to cut them off early. So,
Mhm.
plug yourself. Like you've got your own podcast. Looking at you, you got the earphones, you got the big compressor mic. You're in this shit. So plug your own podcast.
Yeah, it's called the Leg Locker Podcast.
Wait,
um,
how many days did it take you to figure out that name?
Hours, man. It's just crazy. It just came to me in a dream. I kind of got off of it for a little bit. I've just been focusing more on building this website, and man, you want to talk about time? Just I'm basically trying to do almost like a social media kind of like taking the tribe away from Instagram and bring them to the website. And on the website, it's I don't want to disclose too much too soon. But it's basically just a happy place for leg lockers. You can come. There's going to be videos. You can download videos. You can upload videos. Network with people. Share seminars. Share informations. Right now, I have the tribe locator, and then it's also free listing for schools. So there's like a lot of things that I'm trying to work on. But basically, I'm trying to bring the world together with leg locks.
Nice. So you get a bunch of like-minded people in the same group to talk about how well they can enter a honey hole.
That's right. Just dark arts, man. Just we're gonna be talking about all different types of ways that we can, tear each other's legs off. That's
You
all
know
it
what?
is.
If I were going to enter that into a search, into a Google search, people entering honey holes, it's not going to bring up BJJ.
No, you might get like
It's going to be
Pornhub or
some
something.
kinky stuff.
Yeah. For real.
But let's be
Which by
let's
Go
be
ahead.
real. Leg locks are pretty kinky as far as BJJ are concerned.
Oh, for sure. Uh, the term honey hole is actually a 10th planet term, and it was brought on by Nathan Orchard, who was studying Gary Tonan's saddle and incest and Kako entries. He just didn't know the name of it because this is when the DDS was like on the down low and no one was allowed to know what they were doing. And that's when he came up with the name Honey Hole because there were so many opportunities. It was like it was just honey, it was just there.
Yeah, I guess that's like a vernacular term for kind of like hillbilly. It's a term of like a good fishing hole is a honey hole.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, that's
yeah.
that's probably it.
It's
I
like
just
a
I
good spot.
well, there you go. And that's one thing that I really hope that like it might sound a little pretentious, but I want to be the one that ends the confusion. Is it honey hole? Is it saddle? Is it 411? Is it Sakaku? What is this? I want to bring Eddie Bravo and I want to get a fucking John Danaher. We're gonna sit down at a table, bring a microphone, and be like, all right,
Oh yeah, you
guys,
are. There's got to be a microphone for that one.
we're gonna settle this. The world needs this. We're confused. We're lost. We're frustrated. Let's put an end to this, and hopefully I can do that.
Interesting. I
Leave
wonder
my
where
my
it's. You got to like put up a poll and like have bets being placed for where it's gonna land. You know, in those four pots, you've got your
That
saddle
would be
pot,
great.
your 411 pot, your inside Senkaku, and your honey hole.
It's really funny. I did a seminar with Danaher, and he was like, "Well, there's a difference between inside Senkaku and then cross Ashigarami." And then I was like, "Bro, like, come on, man! Like, you gotta stop throwing terms at us. We're struggling with just two of them right now." So, yeah, hopefully that can be my small contribution to the jiu-jitsu community.
All right, well, you're doing God's work, man. It it was an awesome chat having you on here, Hector. I'm happy to have you back. Thank you, everybody, for chatting in the chat. I didn't get any questions at the end. I think we're running pretty late for East Coast guys. I understand that. All of us wester of coast people have a bit of a advantage on the sunshine. So
Yeah, man, Drew, thank you so much, man. Thank you for inviting me. Congrats to you, props to you for having a successful podcast. And your page is doing great. Yeah, man. Hopefully we can do this again. I'll have you on mine, and we'll just keep chatting it up.
all right, look forward to it, man. Take care, and we'll see you all on next You, Me, and Us.
Oh.